Maria Montessori, a pioneer in early childhood education, once said that the most important period of life is not the age of university studies, but the first one, the period of birth to age 6. At one time in your life, you've either thought about or experienced childcare for your child. You've thought about what happens when you have to go back to work after maternity leave, or when you get a job and need childcare. I understand that you're probably going to feel a little nervous, a little fear. You're going to be scared. You don't like the thought of someone else potentially raising your child while you're out there having to work to pay the bills. Also, at some point in our lives, we've either seen the horrendous news stories of nannies, daycare workers, and even parents who have abused or even killed a child that was in their care because they lost it. Those bad apples have put such a bad taste in a majority of people's mouths, and my goal is to show you that not all people and programs are the same, that there are child care centers out there that offer many different things that will help your child grow and learn. Having to choose a child care program for your child is an exciting and overwhelming adventure that can also be very scary. Birth to age 6 are the most formative and developmentally important years in your young child's life. Putting your child in a child care program will help them to learn, grow, develop, and come into who they're meant to be. Throughout this speech, I'm going to show you the beneficial reasons for enrolling your child in a child care program. We're going to take a look at how to find quality child care that makes you feel comfortable leaving your child there. And we're going to look at how to examine the cost of child care and how to find a budget-friendly option that won't break the bank. In a study I read, it said that there are benefits that outweigh the traditional school-type setting. The child care setting encourages the development of cognitive skills and social and emotional development. Children learn to play and interact with others, how to process their emotions, and they learn how to think and use their brains. Now you might be saying, well, duh, that's what school is for. That's what daycare is for. But many people tend to overlook that daycares and preschools, foster and implement activities that provide the growth and the help for these kids to reach their developmentally appropriate milestones. Enrolling your child in a child care program has so many benefits that aren't even geared towards education. Many programs do teach ABCs and numbers, but most of the time, it's about nurturing and fostering their cognitive and social development and make sure they are reaching their age-appropriate milestones. Back to that study, when faced with the experiment of a mother and a child going into a setting where other children are present, results found that the daycare children were more visually oriented towards the other children and less so towards their mothers, and engaged in less sustained physical contact with their mother than their home cared counterparts, which means if you put your child in a child care facility and child care program, when you go out into the world in just a normal social setting, say the Chick-fil-A playground, your child is going to be more likely to go and initiate contact with other kids instead of, staying by mom because they're scared of new people and new interactions. They're going to be more okay with going and talking to people their age and having that social ability rather than just only knowing mom or dad. Finding a preschool is hard. It's strenuous, it's exhausting, and it can be super frustrating too. The website What to Expect has come up with a list of questions to ask your potential provider when you're interviewing with them. It ranges from what is the cost to what are your ratios, from what meals are you serving the kids, to what supplies do I need to bring. And those are all fantastic questions. I do have one question as from somebody who's worked in that field for 10, almost 11 years. One question would be, do you allow drop-in visits? Because when you're interviewing a facility, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be putting a front on, and by front I mean they're not going to be showing their real true self. It's kind of like when you go meet your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your partner's mom for the first time. You put on the best you that you can be. You may not always be dolled up, but for this circumstance, you sure are going to be your best version of you. You're going to have all that makeup on, your best clothes. So when you are interviewing with a facility, you want to make sure that you are, doing drop-in visits where you get to see them at their truest form. Because if they don't know that you're coming, then they don't know that they need to make sure that, the kids are sitting down doing this activity, making them look and appear to be engaged when that's not usually the case. What to Expect says that before you make your final choice, consider stopping by unexpectedly on another day to get a truer picture of what the group daycare center is like when the staff has not been prepped, which kind of goes back to what I was saying. Because when it's unexpected, the staff and students are at their truest form during their day. And if you're told that there are no drop-in visits without appointments, then you should 100% steer clear of that place, because transparency is best. And if they're telling you that you are not allowed to drop in during the day, it's probably not a good place and you need to run. However, when it comes to cost, that's going to be the most, concern for people who are looking at, daycare options or nannies or any form of childcare, is going to be cost. Why should somebody pay, $1,200 a month for the same service when they can have, a daycare center, just a few blocks away, where you're only going to pay, say $800 for this same service? You're going to go with the cheaper option, and that sometimes might be best for you. I understand that childcare is expensive, but that, it doesn't really have to be the deciding factor in finding a childcare program, because although most programs are expensive, there are budget-friendly options out there, and it's all about setting a budget. When I was doing research for this, I came across the Dave Ramsey website, and if you don't know who he is a financial guru of sorts. I see him all the time, saying, budget this way, budget that way. And he had a couple of really good tips for doing, budgeting for childcare. He said that on his website, there are several different options that offer insight on how to save some money. And this works, just in general, but it's geared more towards childcare. You can always look for tax saving options. Most facilities will give out their tax ID number during tax season so that you can claim, you can claim that money that you spent the previous year. You can claim and get some of that back. And there are also a lot of the times, if you contact a facility, say you loved ABC preschool down the street, loved it, felt at home, you want to go there, you want your child to go there, but it's just outside of your price range. A lot of the times, if you call and there's not a wait list or something, Facilities will try to work with you and get you there, because at the end of the day, they do want your business. And if it's a good, true person who cares, then they will wiggle. There will be a little bit of wiggle room. And there are also grants and scholarships out there that you can apply for. It just takes a little bit of patience and also a little bit of desire. You have to put in the work. It's not something that's just going to fall in your lap. Look at starting your own in-home childcare facility. You know, at the end of the day, it's really about what's best for your child. And if there are no feasible options out there, then it might be best for you to potentially start your own in-home daycare where, you know, your child will be getting all the benefits of going to a center. They'll get that social and emotional and that cognitive development, but you're also going to be making a good amount of money off of it too. Now, if there's simply no way you can afford any other options, then, I mean, it's just kind of what are you willing to do to make this the option? You know, using the tips and tricks I've provided, you should be able to do your research to find a budget-friendly facility that still offers what you're looking for. As I stated earlier, birth to age 6 are some of the most formative and developmentally important years in a young child's life. Putting your child in a childcare program will help them to learn, grow, develop, and come into who they are meant to be. Although leaving your baby in a new environment is terrifying and almost guaranteed to make you feel all of the feelings, doing the research on costs and, you know, thoroughly interviewing and vetting all of your providers and the options that you're given should make you feel a little more at ease leaving your child at a daycare facility where they will learn, grow, and develop. I hope the contents in this speech have helped you to feel more at ease in this next step in your parenting journey. Thank you.